Welcome back, everyone. There's this huge buzz, you can't miss it, around weight loss drugs. Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, headlines are everywhere talking about these incredible transformations. Looks almost effortless, right? Shedding pounds like magic. But what if the full story, the stuff that's often unsaid in those headlines, is actually, well, a lot more complicated? Today, our mission is kind of cutting through that hype. Let's really unveil the Ozempic reality check. Okay, let's unpack this.
It really is fascinating, isn't it? How the spotlight just focuses so much on the weight loss numbers, which are remarkable, no doubt. But the crucial nuances like potential hidden side effects, and maybe more importantly, the long-term picture, what it all means for making truly informed choices, that stuff often stays in the shadows. So yeah, we're here to try and shine a light on all of it.
That's a really critical point. So, okay, when we peel back those first layers, the immediate experience, what's the thing that often blindsides people?
Well, I think the initial shock for many is just how severe the gastrointestinal issues can be. We're talking like up to 20% of users getting severe nausea. And not just nausea, but vomiting, diarrhea, constipation too. And look, this isn't just feeling a bit off. It can genuinely lead to dehydration, electrolyte imbalances. But what's really unsettling, and not discussed nearly enough, are these reports of something called gastroparesis.
Gastroparesis is, hang on, that's basically stomach paralysis, right? That sounds pretty bad.
It is, exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine your stomach muscles just slowing right down, or even, well, paralyzing. Food just sits there for way longer than it should, which then leads to intense nausea, bloating, vomiting, like a constant traffic jam inside you.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're even seeing reports of intestinal blockage, needing emergency care. And crucially for many, these digestive problems don't just disappear when they stop the treatment, they linger.
So it's not always just a temporary getting used to its phase.
Not always, no.
And speaking of long-term impact, here's where it gets really interesting and maybe kind of counterintuitive. The type of weight people are losing.
Absolutely. This is so key. It's not just about the number on the scale, right? It's about the composition of that weight. And here's a surprising critical detail.
Yeah.
Studies suggest up to 40% of the weight shed can be from precious muscle, not just fat.
40% muscle.
40%. And this leads to something called sarcopenic obesity, which basically means, being technically overweight, but also having dangerously low muscle mass. It's a significant double whammy for health.
So you could be losing the wrong kind of weight entirely. What are the sort of wider consequences of that muscle loss?
Oh, they're profound. That loss of muscle directly contributes to declining bone density. Especially we see it in the hip and spine. Unless, and this is important, unless you combine it with really consistent resistance exercise. And there's also this concerning detail from animal studies showing organ shrinkage. Like 50% reduction in liver size. We don't know the long-term human effects there yet. But maybe most crucially for you listening, losing muscle fundamentally lowers your resting metabolic rate.
Right.
Which means your body's engine, so to speak, becomes less efficient at burning calories, even when you're just sitting there. And that makes maintaining weight, well, much, much harder once you stop the drug.
So you're almost priming your body to regain weight faster.
In a way, yes. It makes the rebound harder to fight.
That really reframes things. Okay, so beyond the immediate discomfort and this worrying muscle loss, what about the more serious health warnings linked to these meds?
Well, there's definitely a notable spike we're seeing in gallbladder disease. Many cases actually needing surgery, gallbladder removal, and the FDA has put out warnings about acute pancreatitis. Then there's the black box warning.
That's the FDA's most serious caution, right?
Exactly. Indicates significant potential side effects. In this case, it's about a risk of thyroid tumors. Now, this has mostly been seen in animal studies so far, it's important to say.
Okay.
But it's on the label. And let's not forget the risk of kidney injury, too, often linked back to that dehydration from the persistent GI symptoms we talked about earlier.
This all definitely raises a huge question for anyone thinking about these drugs or even currently on them. What happens when you stop? What's the rebound reality look like?
That's precisely the challenge, isn't it? The data suggests approximately 2/3 of the weight lost is typically regained within about 12 months after stopping semaglutide.
2/3 in a year. Wow.
Yeah, and those really positive heart and metabolism benefits, the lower blood pressure, the better blood sugar control that gets celebrated, they tend to disappear right along with the weight maintenance. They often reverse. And this rapid rebound in appetite and then weight is a primary driver for the pretty high discontinuation rates we're seeing. People struggle to stay on them long term sometimes because of this effect or the side effects.
So, thinking about all these factors, what does this all mean for you, the individual listener, trying to weigh this up?
Well, first thing is, the response just isn't universal. You've got maybe 15 to 30% of users who see minimal weight loss, even while potentially dealing with all these side effects. Second, and this is critical, there's just a lack of long-term data on muscle health, bone health, organ health. High-dose semaglutide has only been widely used for a relatively few years. There's also emerging evidence suggesting, well, unknown risks with really prolonged use. And there's clear guidance telling people to stop these drugs months before trying to conceive because of potential effects on fetal development. We simply don't have the full picture yet.
Right. So it seems pretty clear then. Ozempic and its cousins, they aren't really the magic bullets the headlines sometimes make them out to be. The full picture involves some really significant considerations. It goes way beyond just the number dropping on the scale.
Exactly. And, this reminds us that knowledge is, well, it's most valuable when it's understood and actually applied to create lasting health. For sustainable weight management, the evidence strongly points towards comprehensive lifestyle programs, things that combine nutrition, exercise, behavior therapy. These have been proven to achieve a sustainable 5–10% weight loss.
Sustainable being the key word there.
Absolutely. And resistance training, as we mentioned, is vital, key to preserving that muscle mass. Also, behavioral interventions, tackling emotional eating, stress management, they're crucial. And making gradual changes. Think of steady 1 or 2 pounds a week rather than those really rapid fixes. That tends to stick. And don't underestimate community support either. Peer groups, accountability, they really help.
So maybe here's a final thought for you to consider. What if true, lasting wellness isn't actually found in a quick pharmaceutical fix? What if it's really found in that balanced, sustainable journey, one built on informed choices? Something to think about. Stay informed, everyone, and always, always ask critical questions.